and taken away. But now the question is, what are the options going to be?
Game 3
Why pick a top laner, or rather pick a counter pick for Nagri, and it looks like they will opt to do so. Saving final pick here for Beryl. I love seeing last pick save for support.
Yeah, but he could have also grabbed the Thresh right now and given a lot of safety and security towards the Jhin to play very aggressive in the lane. Beryl and Ghost love to play forward. I'm sure we'll talk about it more when we do get into the lane phase, but taking the Gangplank into Renekton isn't necessarily a counter pick, but more so that survival pick.
Sure.
The idea is that you can outscale, if you will, I'm using quotation marks, outscale the usefulness of a Renekton into the late game because of how much this Gangplank can provide you. And we talked about the flex pick, and there it is. It is going to be the bottom Lucian, which makes sense. We said that you would need some sort of dash or disengage from a Hecarim. They don't go for the Ezreal, instead they go Lucian Rakan, and then there's the Sylas pick that Caps loves to use into Twisted Fate and Galio, especially because he can just grab the ultimate, then use it to match you on your pressure on the side of the map.
And this kind of flexibility is something that we've known to come from G2 historically, but hasn't shown up nearly as much in this particular World Tournament. So it's good to see some of that come back. The question is for me, how do they want to respond to this curveball, and they do grab themselves a Leona.
Yeah, so they have a very powerful 2v2 in the Leona, which is a direct counter pick to the Rakan. Obviously, Rakan dashes back to his opponent. You can really follow him back with the E, which then hand delivers you to the enemy AD carry. Still need to be careful though, because the power of Lucian in his raw bot or mid or top lane is still incredibly powerful. So my eyes will be on this bot lane and see who is actually going to get the forward percentage there, who is actually going to be the lane bully, because that does dramatically impact these two junglers. Lilia and Hecarim are hard farm junglers. Hecarim, of course, going for a very expensive build in the Trinity Force, whereas Lilia gets Runick's Echoes and then kind of falls into a bit of a power trough while she's trying to hard farm for this Leandries.
And now we will have a bit of a delay as we head into this first game. Coaches will still shake hands. No water for them to fall into this time around. A little bit of a bummer. Was kind of hoping for a lava pit, but I guess lava's tacky these days.
The fluoride lava never runs out of style.
Regardless, as we're getting ready, we'll take a look at pick ban shortly. And Froster, kind of the expectations we set are looking at Canyon. Is Canyon set up for success? Is Canyon set up to early dominate? Well, that's the Hecarim pick. On the opposite side, Cap's got one of the picks that was set with the for Sylas. Now, he didn't get the Sylas in the way we necessarily expected him to. They require a little bit
supportnya.
So my question is,
Kalau
because I feel like this is the first time that we're really seeing Day1 Gaming kind of try this style. It's a little bit of a takeaway
level
from
2-nya Lucian kan bagus. Jadi siapapun partner yang bisa ngasih dia opportunity buat main all in level 2 kayak Braum, Alistar, Rakan salah satunya yang paling aman karena Rakan sekarang ya pakai banget ultinya.
That said, you know, when Twisted Fate is level 6, Hecarim and Canyon's ability then to set up either dives or to invade the jungle, especially with a lot of power and the global Gangplank's ultimate, makes Day1's composition on an open map actually really dangerous to level 6. So the goal of G2 will be to try to get the flash out to Twisted Fate before he gets access to level 6, so he can have a lot of priority to open up space for the Hecarim, and then it makes it so much more dangerous when he does finally get access to that Destiny, and Sylas can then match it. It's about slowing down TF, so he doesn't get to act before level 6, and then Sylas just gets to be the bigger, badder Twisted Fate.
Interesting to see, because I think on paper when you look at it, scaling is always a difficult term, right? Because I think when people look at it, they just go, who does more damage? Right, when in reality there's a lot of setup. It's like how viable is this champion to actually find access? But when I see this composition from
Game nih, kayaknya emang kalau dulu Lucian Rakan tuh gitu main dari bawah sih. Terus bisa mungkin ini jungle juga mulai priority ke bawah. Siapa tuh mic-nya kayak lagi hujan di sana?
Berarti itu momen scaling jaga update game dulu berarti mereka ya.
G2 mau main nabrak.
I do agree with you. It does feel like G2
pasti mereka mau main level 1. Soalnya dari Lilia ada power di level 1. Kalau dibarengin sama Rakan, sama Lucian.
But I do agree with you. The game goes later and later. I do wait more towards Day1's composition. For G2 though, I feel it's a lot about setup. There's so much setup for Jankos. If he actually does want to
ternyata ini kenapa ya ada yang DC apa?
Can provide Sylas, especially if he has that TF ult to follow you around, the Rakan and the Lucian skirmish power in the bot lane. So even though it is a Lilia from Jankos, I still do expect to see him kind of visit his lanes or throw out a swirling seed and kind of go fishing from time to time, and it to be a very skirmish heavy game from the side of G2.
it's interesting as well. I feel like this is going to be a game where Krez are going to feel very valuable early on, but it's also a little bit difficult to itemize them because you're looking at two very strong mid-game spiking AD threats in Lucian. And Lucian and especially, like, feels really bad to play into tabbies against both those champions. So I want to find out who and how both these teams are going to itemize, where they're going to focus early game, how they can mitigate.
Gampang dipanas sebenarnya DWG nih
Leon's going to feel pretty bad on the opposite side as well. There's a lot of immediate hard CC.
Cuman gue yakin si DWG sih udah
And this is just a lot of
kayak
general conversation
mekaniknya sih harusnya
about
bisa
in
ngelawan
lane phase
buat
and kind
nge-counternya.
of, abstract scaling into 35
Kita lihat aja nanti
5v5s.
yang mentalnya paling kuat siapa yang di
Both
sini.
these compositions is how the lane assignments play. It's a Lucian bot lane, but he can still side lane depending on kind of if he falls behind the clock or if he's on clock for itemization, and does really well into Gangplank. I mean, it's an old school counter for the lane phase, just how he can use his double tap to get rid of the barrels.
Shout out to Hooney.
Thank you, Hooney, for continuing to curse us in League of Legends. And, there's a possibility that Perks is on side lane duty, and Wonder is more so grouped up with the team, depending on if he goes for the Bork or if he goes for more of a team fight oriented itemization for his Renekton. So there's a lot of flexibility for kind of all of these compositions to see where they land and kind of what the game state is and how they want to respond. And that's the danger and strength of both these teams. They're very flexible, very intelligent. Their fundamentals are clean, they're precise. The creativity of G2, I think, is kind of their edge, whereas Dom1, we heard it on the desk over and over. I'm sure you guys are going to get tired of it. Their discipline, their precision. We always knew that they were incredibly gifted individual players. People saw them coming out of Korean Challenger, like, these are the guys to watch. And then they kind of fumbled.
They get
but now they've gone back, they've been forged into this beautiful diamond. They talk about it in their interviews all the time. They are a team. They are a machine now. And it's that teamwork and that new element that makes them so dangerous. They are so well practiced.
And when we say that, I'm still waiting a little bit longer to get into game here. I think the important thing to remember as well is that, this has been coming up recently, is that this is also a relatively
Amerika 1 dari Korea 1 yang
clear upgrade. The teamwork is there. It's no longer the kids fighting every single skirmish. Showmaker described the style as, well, one person would start a fight and we'd all run in, like lemmings, one after another, and just die. Like, we're a bar fight. Like, we're backing up the boys, right? That's how Day One liked to play. And now it's a little bit more refined.
Let's
if
go.
The boy, if he said something stupid, if he's picking a fight he shouldn't have done, they'll leave him to die. They'll play for the map. They're going to be a little bit smarter about it.
Can you describe Snooker? He's like, no, not today.
Not today. You back off.
Oh,
We'll get him another
time will come.
And that's an important thing.
Transfer dulu uangnya.
Transfer nggak? Sama gitu sama Carlos presiden.
Oh iya.
Carlos R.
Summer season, they only played one
Lu
best of five.
mau ngalah nggak? Gua transfer nih.
So for them, and also to a certain degree for G2, this feels like the first big best of five that we'll have seen from either of these teams in a long time, where they're forced to play at their peak consistently. You heard it from Yankos in the Genji series. They had an advantage in mid. They were winning after even with some drafts they felt like were kind of sloppy. So I think for both of these teams, this is the first time where they have to bring everything that they have to bear 100%, or it will cost them dearly.
I think it's, on G2 side, G2 fans, it's an idea. You decided to take the year relatively easy because of the burnout that happened in Paris. G2 was very vocal about, we're going to relax our players, give them more of a break, and then when push comes to shove, when it's time to turn it on, they turned it on. But that's with the caveat that they actually got knocked out both times in spring and summer, and then had to go through the losers bracket to win the final, falling to Mad Lions and then falling to Fnatic before coming back and 3-0ing the final. Now, there is no losers bracket here. This is it, G2. If you want to make good on your promise that you could have a bit of vacation time, you could have that work-life balance.
You can mess around with what players are going to play what role. Caps could try ADC for a split. You got to make good on that. You got to show us that experimentation wasn't for nothing. Wasn't just to throw away what could have been valuable practice.
Now, this is the time to step on the gas. And for Dom1, this is the highest that they've ever been. Last time around, it was the quarterfinals that G2 knocked them out of. They fell to DRX earlier in the year and then came back and now look like this dominant force, but this is the highest that they've ever climbed before. This is the most intense, the biggest spotlight that a relatively untested roster, but still rising star roster, if you will, has ever climbed. And so now it's, can you get over the final hurdle?
Mungkin kurang start. Itu kan server private.
Iya sih, iya. Nggak, maksud gue kayak Wolrds tuh tiba-tiba dua-duanya nyambungnya ke Korea.
promised to us this
Kalau nggak ngeliat nyamuk ke server Indo tau ini.
generation of LCK
Tiba-tiba.
talent.
And I like what you
Terus kayak
highlighted, the
pingin,
next generation.
anjir,
Is that really what it is?
tim gue 100 semua gitu kan playernya. Kenapa ini ya?
Transfer uang dulu deh.
Oh iya, presiden.
Transfer
lagi
uang
ngecek.
nggak tuh?
Lagi ngecek saya kan, ngecek rekening ya, ini udah kirim belum ini.
Itu si Gendut itu lagi nungguin tuh.
Iya, lagi buka klik BCA itu.
Ayo cepet.
Kapan sih anjay masuk uang gue kata?
But I got some fun facts for you, Dragos.
Aduh.
Okay.
Udah.
Did you know that the only time that an LCK team has lost a final, when they've been in the final?
That Korea has lost a final when they've been in a final, because LCK teams have beaten LCK teams.
Yes, of course. Is the first time 2012?
Kalau G2 menang lagi udah nggak tahu lah deh.
That's the only
Yeah,
time
bagus,
an
bagus.
LCK
Bagus.
team has made it to a world final.
Baru pas
They've
final,
always won, except for
Cina
the
lagi
very
menang.
first time they participated.
Ya nggak apa-apa.
Thank
Do you
Cloud
think that?
Templar.
Yeah. Do you think that Cloud Templar right now? I don't know if he's on the. I assume he's on the broadcast because he's kind of the goat when it comes to casting.
Messed up our stat?
Do you think Cloud Templar like hangs his head in shame? Do you think that they mock him with that stat? They're like, Cloud Templar, like, are we gonna have ourselves an SKT on our hands? Are we gonna have ourselves, like a Samsung on our hands when these guys get to finals? Are we gonna have ourselves an Azubu Frost? Templar, you want another Azubu Frost, buddy?
Sad mummy.
That's actually crazy. Right now, though, as league officials continue to investigate, we're going to send it back to the State Farm analyst desk with Shocks, Yamato,
Kontak tuan rumah nggak pernah menang, iya bener.
We're sorry, of course, to everyone at home. We want to get into game one as much as
Oh,
you
betul.
do, but we're going to try and make this
Kan
as
belum.
bearable as
Oh,
possible
dibalikin
by
kok.
having the analysts talk about the super interesting picks and bans. Yamato, what is the single most surprising thing?
Kalau tuan
in this
rumah nggak pernah
pick and
menang,
ban?
berarti yang menang Damwon
I
dong.
think the thing that
Kalau
stands
nggak Damwon
out
ya
to
gitu.
everyone the most is just the Lucian flexing to the bottom side to line up for the Silas, because the whole idea here is to
Cuman
just
bisa jadi kan
bait the Lucian,
ketukan
get the
tahun
twisted
ini
fate. No Silas in the
tidak
picture, you're
terjadi.
happy, but here Silas comes swinging
Mungkin untuk
with
pertama
five
kalinya di tahun
massive
ini nanti
monster
tuan rumah jadi
ultimates,
juara.
and that's just
Kita kan nggak
exactly
tahu.
where Caps wants to be.
So there are quite a
Tuan
few
rumah
things.
dapat
I'm
hujatan
so excited, I
lebih
can see it in your
there's a
eyes.
lot of things. So let's take our time. Let's start with the bans because I want to give a huge amount of credit to Yamato for what we talked about initially when we were doing the lane by lane breakdown. Yamato said very specifically Wonder vs Noguri in a meta where it's like Ornn, Shen, tanks top lane. He thought that Wonder had the advantage. And in the draft, we get in, and immediately Ornn,
Wins.
Shen, and Volibear are all banned off the
Wins
board.
lagi promo
So
nih.
clearly they're trying to eliminate some of the picks that Wonder clearly has a huge impact on. And they're trying to mitigate the champion pool. And then, of course, while they do get the Lucian open, the priority on Jhin and Twisted Fate, to me, spells that Damwon in Game 1 are trying to pick away a lot of the comfort that G2 have relied upon so far at World.
I have a small question to that with the flex, right? We talked so much about the bot lane and the fact that Ghost has been incredibly good, especially in the early game, and just very solid overall. Do you think G2 is giving up pressure by putting that Lucian in the bot lane, something we've not typically seen in the last couple of months and not as much in the meta, or not?
I'm trying to think back when we saw this matchup, a very long time ago, and Lucian into Jhin was something that was playable from both sides. I think the key thing is that Lucian has the Rakan. I think Leona Jhin should be stronger due to GP ult, Twisted Fate ult. So I think this is just a scenario where I think G2 is going to sack the bottom side and then just heavily play mid into top, because you have that GP into Renekton matchup. It's a place where GP can actually get dove, and I think this is going to be the mission of G2 in this game.
Okay.
I
Well,
also
from the
think,
first
Bang,
one.
I
di
also
buat
think
mana?
that Lucian could be quite an effective weak side player as well,
Satu.
because once you hit level 6, you have that wave clip from the ultimates to try and mitigate
Ya,
any
tergantung lu lihat dari
dive.
siapa
You
dulu.
also
Kalau
have the
early game,
ability of the
menurut gue
dash,
gitu
and you
sih.
then have a Rakan and Lucian who are both quite
Cuman,
mobile champions that can just avoid a lot of pressure
Gitu
towards the
ini
bot side. He's
bagusnya
also
nanti
running the
buat
cleanse,
scaling sama
which is going to
nanti
make it even
Sosmed,
harder to
karena
lock
ya
him
ada
down.
global
So I very much agree with
presence
Yamato.
dari
I don't
TF
think the
sama
purpose of putting Lucian bot is to like win hard the 2v2. I actually think the goal is Lucian can
TF
play
GP.
fine in a 1 versus 2 because he's
Mereka
Lucian.
bisa
This
respon
opens
fight
up
di mana
Rakan to
aja.
start roaming. We can
TF
then
itu
use Mickey to do what we
spesial
always do. Play through mid,
buat
get
make
mid
play,
aheads, get mid roaming around the map.
gengking yang
I
tiba-tiba
mean, like in the
Fake.
context of
Gitu,
I'm like
ngagetin.
talking from the
I'm
perspective
kidding.
of
Dambon
yes,
ya kan.
yes. You're
Kembali
making this one,
Damwon
come on now.
Damwon yang ngepanis.
Keyboard warrior.
Yeah.
Okay,
Belum makan
yeah,
begini
go
nih.
ahead,
So I think that the goal is that if you're
Karena
G2,
TF
G2 then wants to use Mickey, open him
FGP
up
itu
on the
bagus
map, and
buat
then get him to
buat
play
ngerespon sama buat
through caps
sih.
to then open him up.
Buat ngagetin G2.
We've got
Tapi baik lagi
hopefully
nih G2
1
sih
minute to
sebenarnya
get back
bakal
into
fokus
the game. On
sih
kind of the
kita ada
silence being
Lilia
able to
Rakan
steal the ultimates
sama
from the other
Lucian.
side. That's
Terus
all
juga
good and well,
Nekton
but
lawan
if you're down
GP
one,
ya
you have
50-50
all
sih.
the ultimates to use
Cuman
at the
Nekton
same
sih
time.
bakal
So
nge-push
how
lane,
much does
ngasih
the fact
priority
that he
buat
can
Lilia.
choose to steal whatever he wants at any moment weigh up against the fact that you have so many good ultimates and good engaged tools on the side of that one?
It's just so nuts. Like Hacker and GP ult, they have so crazy
Milih
AP
Damwon
scalings. We saw the Leona from last
Dia
week,
ke
where Leona
G2
just exploded
Karena
the whole
G2
enemy
itu early
team.
game-nya
I
bagus.
think, you know,
Tapi
it's like a
Damwon
buffet
sih
of
ya
beautiful
kalau
things.
mereka
You can even see him with the Twisted Fate ultimate. He can fire
tahu
from
cara
afar with the
counternya
Jhin
sih,
ultimate.
ini
Probably
pasti
not the
menang
Jhin
sih.
ultimate. Don't take
Damwon.
that one. You have too many premium ults.
He
Don't
just
do
wants to
that.
do the same thing that Huan Fang did, and he wants to just get him
Cuman
away
G2 itu
behind the
spesialnya
other
itu
team and,
So what I
mereka
will say is
selalu
that
bikin
I
play
think
yang
that
nggak terduga.
Damwon
Entah
still
dari
have a
level
very
1
strong team
mereka
fight comp. They
display,
can mitigate a lot of the
terus
side lane pressure
pas
because they have a GP.
side
When we
lane
look
udah
back
level
at
6
G2
mereka make
series
play
versus
lagi.
Gen G, what they did very well was play through
Dari
side lanes
situ
in
mereka
the mid
kontrol
game by
objektif.
utilizing a lot of globals and
Cuman
just
Damwon
creating
tuh
chaos on
bagus
the map. And
bagus
I
di
think
setup sih.
champions like GP and TF can actually heavily mitigate.
Pasti mereka juga tahu setupnya
because
gitu
the
kayak
game is
gimana.
ready, so let's get back over to our casters.
Selama
Thank you very much,
G2 nggak
Shots. We
berhasil
are now about to get into game here.
ngedobrak
Damwon Gaming versus G2.
playstyle-nya Damwon sama maksa
Hopefully you've gotten
mereka buat
all the
ngerespon.
analysis from the draft you could ever hope for. Love to hear it. Love to hear Yamato's
Ini
breakdown
G2
of
bisa
the
dapat lead
bot lane match.
awal-awal.
But I think it's fair as well. Leona Jhin seems to be very strong, seems to be quite oppressive, but nothing will ever feel as oppressive as that stolen Leona ult by Silas.
Mereka sedang bermain di dalam api.
Shouldn't build AP, but can
Gue
build
kira
AP.
Stitch
Having
bakal
their
jadi
ult stolen
lava.
away is
Ada api-apinya
it's quite
ternyata
brutal
cuman
to play against.
Yeah, I think the biggest
doang.
takeaway is the fact
Okay.
that Silas does have so many high priority ults
Di depan abang main
to
kan?
use, not just in his own
Ini udah masuk
matchup,
nih.
to
Baru
have
masuk.
first
Menit
punch,
ke-1.
first impact on the map with the first
Yeah.
Destiny. But like the analyst just was talking about, the Gangplank ultimate, the Hecarim ultimate, the
Oh,
Leona
enggak,
ultimate,
level
all of these
1
are
nih.
exceptionally
Gitu
high
ya,
value for a
nggak
player like
gerak
Caps.
mereka.
And again, if there's going to be a difference maker for G2,
Biasanya
it's
malah
Caps.
di
On
sini
the other
gitu
side for Dom
mulai
1,
level
that
1.
genius of being able to
Cuman
disrupt
mereka
side lane,
nolak
the
ini
ability of the
start
Hecarim,
normal,
the
berarti
long
emang
range of
nyari level
Gangplank
2
ultimate, the
spike di bot
Destiny
lane.
available for Showmaker, and trying to
Tinggal petting Lilianya aja
smother
nih
G2
yang
at their
bakal
own
nentuin
game when they do
mereka
try to split
mau
up this map and play
menyerang
their
dari
hit and
mana.
run style of League of Legends.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, we just look at some of the numbers coming out from Canyon. Absolutely, statistically, one of the strongest players in Worlds and most definitely the strongest jungler right now. So have to see what his version of Hecarim does look like. For now, we are getting a pretty decent
Tapi ADC Lucian masih meta enggak sih?
They're going to
Udah
sacrifice a
kalah
little bit of lane
karena
file, a little bit of ability to hit the creeps there in exchange for that leash.
sekarang yang meta ADC itu meta ADC utility Sena, Jhin, S
Yeah, and the
yang
idea
bisa
should
setup
be, as you were
buat
talking about,
jungle-nya.
as
Karena
Yamato
sekarang meta kan
talked
meta
about,
jungle
analysts,
carry.
that Rakan and
Lucian mana bisa
probably
setup, yang
are going
bisa
to win
setup
this
ya
2v2.
Rakannya.
Obviously,
Cuman
will come
biasanya
down into
kalau
execution,
meta
but
sekarang
Beryl
itu
and Ghost
setupnya
have been
dua-duanya.
so
Kayak
oppressive
Leona
throughout
nih,
this
misalkan
tournament. We
Leona
talked
Jhin,
about
Leonanya
how
masuk,
powerful statistically
Jhinnya
Canyon
follow.
is. Beryl and
Follow up.
Ghost have
Jadi
an
double
absurd
nge-stack
forward
sisi.
percentage. They kick people's teeth in the bot
Wah.
lane, and that
Ini
bleeds
si
over
Ghost
into
Beryl
what
juga
Canyon
maksa
can
level
do.
1
You
sih
know,
mereka.
when
Main
Dom
galaxy level
1 have
1.
item advantages, when they have
Biar
ultimate advantages, summoner spell
si
advantages,
Lucian
like
Rakannya
knock knock,
nggak
Canyon's
dapat
coming
level
into your
2-an.
jungle, and he's bringing these
Harus
strong
begini sih.
priority laners like Ghost and Beryl.
Dari range juga
Yeah, and it's important to note. I mean, forward percentage to have stats that
menang
are
soalnya
that high above
buat
the
trading
average, above
awal-awal.
30%. We're talking 12 to 15% for both these guys. Means that they are
Satu.
consistently pressuring out, winning
dua.
in prio, whether it's through picks or trades. It does not matter. With that said, on the top lane,
Wah,
Wonder for
tapi
right
kalah
now is doing what he
tradingnya.
can in this matchup, but
Gawat
Nagari
situ, si Wonder
is
kena satu
kind of
turret.
beating the hell out of him.
Kena Ghost
that
Beryl
was
lagi
a
kan.
huge misstep from Wonder there to lose
Oh,
so much
bisa.
health to the tower. It's now
We'll
pulled
see.
Bisa digeng
Yankos
nih,
to appear
Mayang
up into
pas
the top side. Maybe he tries to force flash, but
buang fresh
Nagari
kayaknya.
holds
Nggak
it
perlu,
very
nggak perlu,
smartly.
nggak perlu.
Does allow Wonder to kind of catch back up in some of the EXP
Tungguin
difference. But now what will Canyon
kayak
do
si
with the
Wonder
information that Yankos
nge-flash.
is top side? He could try to go in and contest the Krug camp. He's got priority from Showmaker in mid lane, as well as priority from Ghost and Beryl. And he's either going
Oh,
there
akhirnya
for
gara-gara
deep vision, or at least have
punya
bottom grab.
compress, mereka nggak bisa
It's
level,
interesting
main
when you look
level
at it.
2.
Kind of expected Yankos to pull ahead a little bit here in terms of early
sekarang
jungle
kayaknya
farming,
bisa
but for
main di
now,
bot
Canyon with the
side.
one camp advantage and is already working on the Scuttle Crab. Just having to go top lane to kind of bail Wonder out to kind of reset that lane and help sustain the pressure that
Bang,
Renekton's
itu
trying to
siapa?
put
Oh,
down.
itu,
Costs him a little bit here now behind the camp. We'll have to see what the fight looks like over this Raptor camp. Yankos can try to take it away, but he does not have a mid laner on the map right now, so it's a bit risky to go for it. TP will be used in the mid lane. Gold card, but there's the setup. So you can see there's the ball, the flash away from Showmaker, the watch out. EP tries to dance on it, but it's not enough. First blood for Jankos.
And this was so crucial for G2 to make sure that they could get the early flash. You already saw that Caps was struggling
nggak ada vision juga di
push
top.
priority that Showmaker
Tadinya
was able to put out,
si
constantly getting
yang
under
pas
the
mau ambil
tower.
raptor
Now that TF
karena
doesn't
TF-nya
have the flash,
lagi
he's going to
overpush.
lose a lot of that push control,
Nggak
and
punish.
Caps will really be able to pressure him and should slow down Showmaker's influence on the map by just having a lane of priority that Canyon can play around.
Canyon trying to figure out what to do, but the wards have spotted it out very cleanly. They know exactly where
Ini
Canyon
mau-
is on the
mereka
map
mau
right
apain
now.
pada
TP being used back to top lane from Nagari. See what he
Kelihatan
wants
sih.
to go for here, but right now this is kind of the dream scenario for Caps. The repeat gank setup, very easy. Showmaker's gonna have to play so far back. It's gonna give him so much access here in this lane. Meanwhile on the bottom lane, Mickey feeling pretty confident, but honestly fantastic use of the Zenith Blade. Mickey getting caught out, getting cut down, the Ignite ticking. Barrel
Bah.
finds it, and that's the
Flash,
Daniel
flash,
bottom
coba.
lane we wanted to see, punishing the Recon
And
pick.
just so beautiful, though.
Nggak
That's
tahu
exactly
gua
how this
juga itu
counter matchup
kenapa
works. It's
ya,
why
kenapa
Leona and
kenapa
the last pick of Leona was
sekarang
so
lane-nya lagi
important to
nge-push
see
lane
Mickey's
terus
Recon
kayak
come out and just to
si Mickey-nya
punish
mau
him
make
exactly
play gitu.
like that.
Padahal
Using
udah
the
pasti
Zenith
kalah
Blade,
lah,
following
kecuali lu
Recon and
lu
following
level
it up with
satunya
so
menang
much
kalau lu
damage.
Shen Rakan kayak
That
gini.
is definitely not easy to do.
Ini
Very easy
nyari
for
mati sih.
Recon to slip out of there a
Gua
little
baru
bit.
nyadar
When I
itemnya
talked to
sepatu,
Mickey
anjay.
historically about this matchup, when we saw it a lot
Iyalah,
with Zaya
buat
last
lawan
year, he
Lucian
said
Rakan
even
wajib
though
sepatu,
Leona's
wajib banget sepatu.
Recon feels like
Wajib
he always
banget
gets to
kalau lu
dictate
nggak
the
mau
pace
kalah.
of the lane,
Itu
especially
di
in
mereka
first 6. So to find this
PD
opening so early on
trading
before
sama
level 6 are even coming in to
Gitu.
build this
Kenapa?
kind of
Karena ada
lane
sepatu.
advantage is massive for Damwon.
Yeah, but is that
Kalau
just
misalkan
because
pakai
Mickey's
Doran
never
Shield,
played
Doran
against a
Blade
good
nggak
Leona?
bakal nolong karena Rakan
I mean,
itu
it's a fair question.
gampang
We talked about
nge-punish
it, right? These are definitely the biggest
siapapun yang
challenges that both these teams
misstep,
have faced
siapapun
all
yang
year long.
offside.
Just such
Dan
a shade to all the Leonas.
karena pakai sepatu,
I think
otomatis
blatant shade, but they might
movementnya
deserve it.
Lucian
We'll
sama
find
Rakan
out.
tuh jadi nggak efektif.
Mickey level 3 in the mid lane. Obviously, we
Dan
talked
ternyata
about it
baru
already.
menjadi
Showmaker without a
pasif
flash,
pro-nya
the setup
juga,
here
kan?
is easy, but Barrel already in the area.
Ah,
Trouble on the top side. Yanko's getting good sustained damage. Nagari going to be
Apa
forced to
nih?
flash out to safety. And Yankos, while he's not pulling ahead in jungle farm, he has been absolutely
buang flash juga.
everywhere on the map so far. That's his third gank this game.
Yeah, particularly impacting that top lane, bailing out
Gila
Wonder
sih
from
ini
the,
Yankos
tower shots that he took.
ngorbanin
Now
farming.
hoping that Wonder can maybe get a slow push back towards into him. I think it
Oh,
didn't
Caps udah
pan out
level 6.
exactly. They were trying to pull the minion wave, but from what I can see on the mini map, it
Paling
looks like it
kayaknya
was
mau
actually
nyolong
to
TF
shove
nanti.
into
Nunggu Damwon
Nagari's
make play.
tower. So hopefully Nagari doesn't get the wave frozen away from him and find himself in a bad case with
Beryl
that
juga
flash.
bakal
Barrel here in the
main.
mid lane again, trying to put a little bit of
Dia
pressure
ada
back
fresh
on
sih.
Caps. Level 6 coming in for Showmaker. Caps has
Mau
ult
ngebait dulu
as well,
kayaknya.
so he could try to follow if the Destiny Gate combo is going to come through.
It's just a Cloud Dragon, so
Ah, ke bawah nih
Damwon
kayaknya.
are pushing down here and securing vision as well as Crab. As Caps is just
Hold that
sprinting at
thought.
them.
Caps is running in, but he does miss the stun, and
Okay.
that's pretty big because Yankos is quite squishy.
nabrak.
Barrel's on the backside. They need to kill Showmaker, and they need to make it out. That's going to be one kill, and they're now trying to
Wah,
make it to
dia
safety.
nyolong
Yankos already got
Karim
down.
dong
Caps needs to
pastinya.
retreat. Perks and Mickey on the way in,
Ada
but Ghost is here. One shot,
Guri
two.
juga.
Still two left in the
Yang
chamber.
siapa
He's
nih,
looking for a
Ghost?
bit more blood. Barrel on the way in. Zenith
Lumayan
Blade.
yang si
How
duit
long of the
buat
cooldown?
Ghost.
Heal the
Masih
run
3 lawan
forward.
2.
Shield of
Jangan
Daybreak.
kena, Cuk.
Bit of a miss, but Mickey gonna whiff as well, holding that one out. A little bit sloppy so far mechanically, but it looks like Mickey should be able to pull
Ini
back to
mah dapat
safety,
Mickey
waiting on that
ya.
battle dance, holding onto it for now. Doesn't look like he has the cooldown, it will get dropped
Fox
in the
masih ada
end.
flash.
Damwon Gaming
Mickey masih bisa
getting
balik
the
sih
better of
harusnya di
G2
sini.
in that
Oh,
skirmish,
enggak.
and Barrel just cannot miss.
Yeah, and it was
kena.
G2 who bit off into
Tapi
the skirmish.
nggak ada follow-up.
Damwon thought that they had the priority in the necessary lanes, mid in particular. They're like, okay, we've got priority.
Gua kira si
Stone
Mickey
Trap should be
mau
ours.
balik,
And then
tapi kayaknya tadi
G2
nggak keburu sih.
sacked the fact
Kena
that they
stack
didn't have
si
priority,
sini.
decided to contest it anyway, and got pretty hard punished, in my opinion. The fact that Hecarim is getting snowballed so far
Wah.
ahead, the fact that Jen is now sitting on 2 kills, like this can come back to really bite G2.
Malah
And the only silver
sekarang
lining they have
bot
for this
lane
early game
Damwon
in
yang
particular
menang.
is that it's just Cloud Dragon.
And when we looked at the
Barrel's
early game of this
korbanin
game, we
Semoga.
talked a lot about the importance of Canyon and the importance of
Oke,
Krez.
tangkap lagi.
Yankos has been the one to surprise. He's been the one ganking everywhere on the map. But on the opposite side for Damwon Gaming, Canyon's been playing well, don't get me wrong, but it has been Barrel. Watch this Leona coming into this fight as it plays out. Barrel has been everywhere, just one step ahead of Mickey. As this one continues to go through, the Leona is just so key.
Yep, the flash forward as well as the Gangplank ultimate was really massive. The analyst just talked about it. You know, when
Barrel juga
G2 are
buang
going to
flash.
try to take these skirmishes, it's going to be Nagari that can have that cross-map impact, especially when Wonder is using teleport back towards the lane. So G2, in my opinion, not really respecting the cross-map ultimates and power that Damwon could have, as well as the roam from Barrel.
Yeah. See if they can sustain that pressure. Barrel consistently out of the bot lane right now. Similar story for Mickey as he checks in on mid, seeing if he can find an opportunity there. Of course, level 7 in for Wonder on the top side, level 8 for Nagari. CS relatively even overall. Gangplank always going to have a little bit of a gold advantage, but Wonder working towards that Blade of the Rune King. It looks like he's pretty committed to a potential 1-3-1 here, wants to be able to duel out a lot of the more bruiser-like champions on the opposite side.
As far as game state right now, again, because it is a Cloud Dragon, it doesn't seem like they're keen to really overreach for it. Both these junglers would rather prioritize just farming their camps, resetting their timers, rather than taking the time to take Cloud Dragon unless it's absolutely free or can set up a very strong team fight. Again, Canyon's probably actually sitting on a pretty hefty amount of gold right now. He's going to complete his Trinity Force before he completes the jungle item, as is usually tradition with the Hecarim. Still a very expensive build path, but once he's there, and even once he has Sheen, you know, it makes him so incredibly dangerous in the 2v2.
Gara-gara Lucian first picknya si bottom,
because
mereka
when you
mau
look at
maksa
Hecarim, obviously a lot of his powers is sustained damage, but that's mostly for the jungle clear early on. Just between the devastating charge and the ultimate, he does so much burst in these small skirmishes. Can't get punished for burning those cooldowns too aggressively, but very hard to do from the position that G2 are in right now. Barrel hiding in the brush, but it has been warded, so not really going to get advantage there. And finally, the Cloud Dragon gets taken. 9 minutes 38 seconds of the game. They decide to start that one, but they will kick it off.
That's again because there is nothing up and available for Canyon to farm here as Barrel finds him again with just some light trading back and forth. I say light.
Light, but Barrel's now going to be in trouble here. First step forward. Are they willing to commit any more summoner spells?
I mean, they just saw that the dragon was going down, so they know that Canyon is on the bottom side of the map, so there's no way that Perks would burn his flash or move forward aggressively in that case when a Hecarim could come flying into your lane.
Well, yeah, certainly would have been. I didn't even see the Hecarim at the time talking about that, so I'm glad you pointed it out for us. So very much could have been just instant death there as the ultimate is available for Canyon.
Yang penting
back and he will buy another piece of the Trinity Force, but hasn't quite completed it yet. So with Jankos having a fully completed jungle item here, should be able to out-clear at least for a little while until the Trinity Force is completed for Hecarim.
Now the resets are coming in from G2, and they could go for the Herald. In fact, you see so much vision control set up throughout the top side of the river, as well as Canyon pathing top side to try to contest Wonder here. If they kill Wonder, it should give Dom1 control over the Herald, as now you can see Jin's also working mid lane.
Come up as well. This is going to be a big deal. Wonder trying to flash out stage, but the ult still coming in. Shellmaker's going to get there, but he's not even needed. Clean kill pickup for Nogari and Canyon.
And it's just too easy. Very well executed now.
Trying to turn it back. Can walk away. Obviously,
double combo. Beryl sih bahaya sih posisinya, dia bisa kena slip. Oh, langsung dibuka ultinya.
G2 away from this Herald. Make sure that they can take it down uncontested on the side of Dom1 Gaming. They've already got the Cloud Drake. They're already up in kills. Now they're going to grab the Herald as well, essentially guaranteeing almost another 1,000 gold to go in their pockets if they can use it before plates fall. So right now, Dom1 Gaming absolutely outplaying G2 across the map.
Yeah, just smashing them in the
Gimana sih G2?
kind of snowballed away
Baru
from
pertama kali
again, try to
dapat
contest that
early game
grab,
kayak
gave
gini.
over a lot of critical kills. And then the gank or repeated ganks on Wonder up into the top side. You can see what Wonder was thinking. He's like, I've got so much vision in my bot side river. I've got so many of my members underneath me, but didn't account for A, the Destiny, but then also the lane gank power of a Hecarim just flying in from the back of the lane.
And now Canyon's at that point where when he does back, most likely we're going to see the Trinity Force completed, and that's... Now we're in the scary portion of the game. Of course, Hecarim without really any defensive utility to back him up does mean that he's always going to be a little bit squishy until about 3 items that in theory G2 could just try to burst him out when he does go in, but it's going to be very hard to do so because right now Dom1 are in control of the map. Dom1 can play whatever pace that they want to. They have the globals to back up any plays that they want to make as well. As we now see, Cap's taking a global away of his own into the dash forward. He's fishing for Ghost and Barrel, but he has to be careful. Team now trying to back up. That's Mickey looking for the game. Backing off though. Barrel is now going to retreat to safety. He's going to be one sleepy Leona, but here comes Showmaker, and Caps has been caught out. Dom1 Gaming punishing G2, punishing Caps for these over-aggressive plays, and Showmaker will grab another one.
And the idea from G2 is that they were going to play cross-map. They figured that Caps on top side, if he's on the field, it's probably either going to go top or mid.
Mereka mau nabrak Damon, tapi dengan situasi kayak gini udah susah.
Mereka tuh pasti pakai strategi yang kemarin.
Kemarin tapi draftnya beda masalahnya. Iya. Mereka sih perspek Luciannya itu sih yang fatal sih, kayak si Damon kayak sengaja lepas Lucian tuh sengaja ini tujuannya tuh buat kayak ngebait gitu loh. Jadinya. Oke, lu ambil aja Luciannya ya kan. Ya udah kita ambil Jin sama TF terus kayak gitu jadi iya juga ya kan kita pakai Jin TF ya. Terus kayak jadi bingung sendiri gitu. Terus kayak Jin TF kita pakai Jin TF nggak bisa make play lagi jadi sekarang harus nunggu Damon terus kayak lu make play pakai begini Lucian Rakannya kalah nggak dapet priority di early game nggak bisa make play lagi. Coba tadi gitu level 1
I think it was more about opportunity.
Beda sih ceritanya. Itu menangnya tuh karena harusnya Lucian, Rakan, Lilia itu make play di level 1. Tapi level 1 mereka nggak ngapa-ngapain. Mereka takut juga kali kayaknya sama Damwon. Jadinya fatal sendiri sih.
Showmaker comes over. I believe he's got the ghost at this point, lands the gold card, and then there's no minions left for Caps to walk through the tower to his doom.
Showmaker
is going to be difficult. Of course, Lucian not as strong on first item with the build that he is opting to go for, so maybe.
Itu lihat udah Trinity dua-duanya.
Now Ghost is pretty good with that Storm Razor to just continue showing up, providing a little bit of utility and some backup damage in these exchanges. The early game though, 4 turret plates to 7. Feels like
ya lumayan lah standar sih
timingnya.
Cuman kalau dibandingin sama itemnya sih
or absolutely outmap pressure him, although it did look like it might go that way early on. And now I feel like the Hecarim is fully online. When he ticks over to level 11, I am very nervous for the side of G2.
Canyon's a big
boy.
He got a couple of nice gift wrap packages, as well as some good counterplay on the map right now. It's whatever he wants to attack. The Mountain Dragon has spawned, which means that our soul will either be an ocean or an inferno. That's going to be really nice news for Dawn, who are currently in control of the bottom side of the map, because they have the mid lane tower pushed down and will always have first movement. But also the fact that Hecarim, like you said, already has his Trinity Force, as well as the GP. And right on time, the breakpoints come in for Dom1. They are exceptionally powerful right now, and they're going to start mostly into space and just taking whatever they can, and they're just going to bait G2, you know? If you want to come and hit it, come and hit it. But if you fight us, we've got the numbers advantage. We've got the gold advantage.
Sadly, I feel like G2's been taking the bait all game, Frostgrr, and I feel like Damwon Gaming have just been consistently one step ahead. Before they were testing G2 to see if they go for these plays, kind of baiting them in, and now they just have the muscle to punish anywhere where G2 try to force. Is Canyon just going to focus on clearing out the vision here. This is rough for Perks. He is the one suffering here. Yankos as well. He's not going to have access to that bottom side jungle. Perks is going to have to get right back under that tower as quick as he can.
And dives are now so easy for Dom1 to execute on. Anytime a Showmaker goes missing, if you don't bring Showmaker because of how strong Canyon is,
bisa berperan banyak gak bang terlalu bisa, tapi Renekton itu harus minimal 2 item.
Game ini kayaknya enggak.
Nah itu dia, kalau nggak dikasih opportunity-nya sih nggak bakal dapet. Apalagi dia udah bisa dibilang udah ke outscale sama GP loh. Yang harusnya timing Reneknya bisa nyamain ini sekarang sebenarnya kalah di itemnya.
To get a little bit of tankiness is a good recognition of the game state where Hecarim probably can just one-shot you, and this item will definitely
juga Storm Razor sih emang pas banget nih buat lagi-lagi buat ngerespon Lucian Rakan, jadi bakal lebih sulit lagi buat dikejar nih Jinnya. Mau nangkep Jinnya gimana caranya, mesti double flash kali.
Harusnya ya itu Lucian tetap di mid, zoning aja TF-nya. Itu kan Lilia kan sama Cat kan udah apa nih, udah kayak duo bareng gitulah mainnya kan, udah stay di mid gitu. Ya udah lu zoning aja midnya, tinggal mungkin adiknya Sena atau apa gitu kan.
Sena sih menurut gue paling bagus buat lawan Jin. Sena Rakan. Mereka itu sih maksain flex tadi balik lagi. Ini Luciannya first pick tapi ditaruh di top, jadinya akhirnya nggak efektif sama sekali. Terus kayak nanti dia late game kayak gini ngelawan komposisi scaling GP gini nggak guna jir. Orang ditabrak GP bodo amat, GP tinggal maju ya kan. Hajar aja bos ya, lu mau juga nggak, lu nggak ada damage. Lucian damage pakai mana moon. Ada damage ya. Ini bikin Essence River dulu pasti. Enggak. Kalau udah ada mana moon sih harusnya langsung ke IE sih. Gak perlu Essence River lagi. Kecuali dia benar-benar pengen nyari cooldown. Tapi menurut gua trade off-nya stacknya jadi lama banget.
Mereka terlalu mentingin counter sih.
Iya. Kayak mereka jadi itu nggak sih, apa namanya, nge-outplay, ngedraft mereka sendiri. Kayak kita mau flex nih ya kan. Iya, mikirnya gimana tuh kalau ditabrak kayak gitu. Gak bisa. Dia ngasih kill ke Jin lagi kan,
Dia nge-flash si Somek seneng aja.
Iya.
Oh ya udah gue datang.
Udah nyalain juga ultinya. Ada garuk-garuk si Jangkos. Aduh, ini gimana sih? Kenapa sih? Luciannya di bawah, taruh bawah. Aduh, pusing sendiri kan jadinya. Jadinya bukannya mid-nya yang setup buat jungle, sekarang kalau karena draftnya gitu kayak gini, jungle yang setup buat mid. Emang itu berlaku buat lawan Genji, tapi ini kayak nggak bisa sih. Damwon sama Genji tuh beda jauh dari LC sama tim LC kayak yang lain tuh. Damwon beda. Jauh banget loh. Kayak udah outclass gitu. Ini ibaratnya kayak G2 sama tim LC yang lain. Udah punya lead spin lagi nih.
Impact Lucian mid sama Lucian ADC udah beda.
Beda banget, beda banget. Kecuali Lucian level 1-nya make play baik lagi gitu. Mereka nggak nge-cheese, mereka nggak nge-cheese. Bukannya apa ya namanya? Bukan kayak style gitu banget banget. Tapi game aneh. Gue juga kayak kenapa mereka hati-hati banget gitu, mereka main safe aja gitu. Harusnya kalau ada Lilia Lucian Rakan gini sih mereka tabrak aja. Kalau minimal buang flash sih udah bagus loh. Selama mereka nggak buang flash juga, mungkin mereka takut di counter ya lagi-lagi. Tapi akhirnya mereka jadi sengsara gini. Early game udah masuk mid game kayak gini terus kayak nggak ada item. Nah si Damwon mau zone control lagi kan.
Nah dia udah kemakan strategi sendiri nih.
Saya tahu. Oh mereka mau playing ini,
Ini Krez dapat
Tahu.
Mereka mau DG nih.
Mereka lagi ini nih, buy time aja untuk si Herald itu.
Iya.
Mereka mau
Mereka
DG nih.
dapat satu, TF tinggal ulti ke mid. Bisa. Nah tuh Mickey out. Aduh, mid play
Silence
lagi.
masuk. Nice. Krez
Cuma
dapat
dapat satu dia. Terus kayak kali ini bisa dapat 2.
TF masih ada ulti.
Iya. Nah,
Dapat DG dapat Krez kan.
Udah.
DG udah pasti dapat.
Dapat 2 nih.
Mau flash lagi? Oke, flash.
4 mundur.
Flash. Masih ada stop.
Bisa nih.
Lagi. Bisa lah.
Bisa. Nice.
Bisa nih mau all-in kayak gini. Korbanin 1.
Damwon.
Gila. 4-1 loh. Dapat DG juga gua.
Antara barat atau nggak mid?
Iya, cara bareng atau miss. Kayaknya mereka nggak bareng sih. Mereka bareng sih.
Push aja sih. Iya, push.
Iya, Damwon lagi sih. Main seks. Tapi mereka bisa setup juga loh. Kayak dancing aja. Ngebet akhirnya jadi maksa ke fight lagi.
Bentar ya guys.
Kayak Karim juga udah ada ulti lagi bentar lagi.
Nih, ini maksa nih. Dia ngultinya kelihatan.
Cuman ke showmaker kan?
Enggak. Gini, kalau sih menurut gue ya, kalau Mickey mau buka kayak gitu, mendingan dia ke ini deh, ke arah mau ke blue itu deh, biar nggak kelihatan ultinya gitu loh.
Nggak flank kan? Hitungannya kayak nggak flank, nggak dari depan gitu. Kalau di depan kelihatan banget ada flash. Kalau flank itu tinggal flash balik aja.
Gila ini pagi itu kayak dibaca bukan jadi gitu
Iya tuh, ini dia tuh nggak playing diri mereka sendiri anjir.
Outplay sendiri bang.
Ini nggak play diri sendiri, mereka dari drafting aja udah kayak ke outplay. Tuh kan ditabrak lagi. Sekarang Damwon yang ditabrak, sekarang jadi gitu style. Gila di emote pula makanya.
Gila kayaknya nih. Waktu si Caps ngambil apa namanya Silas kan ada ulti Leona, ulti GP sama ulti Karin kan bisa dipakai sama dia.
Dia fokus ke counter.
Enggak, ini karena mereka ya itu karena Lucian first pick.
Iya.
Terus kayak mereka mau ngide Luciannya ya udah Lucian flex kayak taruh ADC. Last pick-nya Caps kan, tapi Salas kan. Itu nge-play diri sendiri namanya.
Iya, dipikir apa namanya Luciannya bakalan dingin terus nge-flex aja kayak mereka ada plan gitu ya kan. Tapi ya Suram anjir.
Soalnya ya ini baik lagi Lucian Rakan tuh mesti menang level 2-nya tadi ngelawan Jin Leona sih ya udah badanin aja Leonanya level 1 akhirnya mereka nggak dapet priority di situ. Jadi itu yang bikin kayak bot lane-nya jadi menang. Tabrak lagi. Nggak ada item defense lagi. Dia punya ulti doang. Buset! Emot-emot loh dia. Toxic juga dia. FBX IG lah. Oh dia tahu. Gue tahu nih dia pattern gimana ya kan. Terus kayak dia IG juara 2018 kan. Terus FBX juara 2019. Terus habis itu dia pengen ngeluarin Damwon. Iya. Terus begitu I want to crush gitu nggak. Gila dia mau nge-clap doh.
Gila, shopmaker toxic juga anjing.
Tapi toksiknya kayak toxic faker tuh nggak? Toxic yang bukan meme tapi kayak
yang subtle ya.
Iya. Iya. Toksiknya faker ini. Iya.
Gua habis beli makan gua nonton anjirnya apaan gitu Damon ya kan gua replay ke belakang anjir.
Itu kayaknya championnya apa Hekarim namanya. Wah kalau keluar di Wild Rift sih seru sih. Soalnya Hekarim itu salah satu counternya Master Yi. Iya makanya sekarang kenapa Master Yi sering banget dipakai di Wild Rift karena jarang counter jungle belum keluar di Wild Rift. Coba semua jungle ada di keluar di Wild Rift itu Master Yi nggak bakal kepake sih.
Nggak laku ya?
Nggak bakal lah, ngapain orang banyak counternya. Ditabrak Hekarim Master Yi nggak ada apa-apanya. Bingung sendiri dia. Kena hipnotis. Kena fear dia. Lihat dance pula, aduh gila, susah mati dah.
Yanko's had to bail him out a little bit on the top side of the map. He is currently 0-4, and so for G2 it really does.
Gila pemain G2 mukanya nggak ada yang ketawa-ketawa anjir kayak biasanya kalau mereka main.
Iya disiplin aja.
Iya si Jangkos bro dia sambil megang-megang kepala terus ya kan ngusap-ngusap rambut terus.
Jangkos kayak gitu dia.
Iyalah, yang harusnya nge-carry, yang harusnya diprioritasin Lianya sekarang kayak dia jadi harus fokusin ke lane-nya. Sedangkan landingnya nggak ada yang menang banget gitu kecuali mid, jadi makanya dia tadi majunya ke mid mau bantuin dia. Kan kalau kayak gini ngelawan tim keluar laning phase sih udah beda ceritanya. Ini masih baronnya habis ya?
Tidak di depan nggak ada yang mau nyamperin anjir.
Bisa lah orang full skill ini full spell. Semuanya full spell.
Buset itu kali muda siap ngecas.
Terus kayak itu mau buka lagi kayak tadi pakai Mickey ya kan sekarang Mickey nggak flank tuh. Tapi tetap
dia posisinya pas banget anjir.
Iya dia udah siap buat ngerespon si itu Mickey.
Gila ya.
Kena stun lagi anjir. Aku zoning poking lagi, terapin lagi. Harus balik base, akhirnya free turret, nggak bisa nabrak. Gila sih.
Demon mainnya aktif banget tapi ya Teh, udah ngasih kesempatan buat si G2-nya bisa ini anjir ngepanis.
Iya sebenarnya ini bukan masalah Damon loh, tapi karena ya itu mereka dapat opportunity-nya, mereka fleksibel banget sih di mid game yang gila sekali pok Jin udah sakit sih. Nah dipoking lagi kan, pok lagi. Oh Caps ada ulti kali. Ini harus pasti. Showmaker pakai exhaust. Exhaustnya berarti buat kalau nggak caps wunder ya. Iya kalau nggak caps wunder. Buat nge-peel ya, buat nge-peel Jin ya. Udah pasti soalnya yang bisa mencari juga kan tabrak lagi sama caps, tabrak lagi sama Jin. Masih 4 lawan 4. Oh bisa menang kan kalau 3. Oh iya sih masih ada Jin tuh. Tuh, Damon, ya kan terakhir dari anjir yang motif Sosmed. Tuh lihat anjing. Apaan itu? Wah, dia nggak mati buat si Nuguri. FX ya kan, FX ID Damon. Oh gitu anjing. Pakai gitu enggak? Wah, toxic hacker beneran. Bangsat si maker ini. Gue kira mau ngeluarin Damon kan, dia ngeluarin gitu
Gitu.
Ini dikeluarin gitu.
Ini Riot gak bakal Riot emot lagi deh.
Legend itu terlalu agresif bang. Tapi menurut gue Legend itu emang ini sih 50-50 tuh mereka nggak nge-cheese, kuncinya di situ doang bro, gila. Lu ada Lucian Rakan di bot lane tapi Lucian Rakannya kalah gitu. Kayak jadi nggak guna gitu kan lawan Jin Leona, ya udah santai Jin Leonanya. Terus gara-gara mereka nggak dapat TF, akhirnya yang make play si Damonnya lah. Orang biasanya gitu yang make play pakai TF, itulah kenapa waktu kemarin tuh Genji nge-ban TF. Emang nggak lepas. Kak, sudah di oh bentar, gua ambil makan dulu ya.
Iya.
Oh si Bobon buat Bobon juga. Pas banget ini. Pas banget pas gamenya kelar.
Buat makanannya datang ya.
Bobon.
Ini sambutan tuh bang, coba reward.
Nontonnya anjir. Gede banget game-nya. Aneh sih.
Nih kalau gini terus nih udah jelas banget bisa multi F lagi
Legends run
di
wild,
final.
each one unique, with astonishing power, unstoppable,
Amon sih bisa sih, tapi G2 tuh biasanya apa? Atau ada cara-cara buat comeback juga sih. Makanya
Soal mereka tadi di drafting aja bang.
iya. Sama pergerakan itu tuh lumayan kebaca ya, kayak mereka kadang bikin rotasi kreatif gitu. Cuma Damonnya tuh gak ngasih kesempatan mereka bikin play kayak gitu. Ada tuh sekali tuh yang si siapa namanya showmaker di geng di mid kan, abis itu nggak banyak.
Ya mereka masih menggunakan ini bang, yang kayak kemarin kayak pas lawan Genji itu, paksa Wardi bot, makanya si Cap ketangkep tadi di bot.
Iya.
Beda level loh jadi sama.
Bisa banget sih nontonnya puas banget. Damon ya. Tapi gue rasa faktor pelatihnya juga GG sih anjir. Pelatihnya si Damon tuh kayak untuk ngebaca strategi itu sama ngedrafting. Rasa tuh ada pengaruhnya juga anjir.
Dulu kan SKT juga kalah lawan ini. Gitu. Makanya dia balas dia pengen
itu pelatih yang sama ya?
Iya. Mantan pelatih SKT itu.
Iya bener sih. Itu pelatih yang sama sih.
USKT.
Iya. Nah, selama apa si Damon bisa main kayak gini terus kayaknya udah mantep sih.
Udah langsung.
Kuncinya sih satu aja sih sebenarnya.
Bentar. Sabar, Bobon.
Dan makanannya kan.
TF di LCK cuma 2 orang aja yang bagus.
Omega
sama Faker. Iya benar.
Tiga lah.
Gua
ini sama Dopa anjir.
Tapi Dopa nggak dia sih kira.
Iya Dopa nggak dia sih. Dopa nggak dia sih.
Tahu nggak? Ini game 2 sih G2 nggak boleh first pick lagi sih. Kayaknya mereka harus second pick kalau mereka mau mainnya kayak kemarin. Soalnya kuncinya itu si Fox harus pakai Jin karena dia selalu pakai Jin kalau diambil. Tapi kalau pick kalau diambil gitu jadi bingung sendiri. Dia kayaknya nggak main Sena kan? Yang main Sena kan cuman yang main Sena tuh si Reckless.
Iya.
Fox selalu pakai Jin dia. Hampir selalu
pakai
sama S ya, sama S.
Sama Ezreal. Itu aja sih. Jin As, kalau nggak ya
BTK aja sih menurut gua. Kalau nggak mau bet, udah ambil aja first pick. Kalau di blue side ya.
Ya ampun sih.
Udah lah, ini finalnya bakal Dangwon sama TS kok, udah pasti.
Bisa jadi Damwon Suning.
Iya.
Gue sih pengen
Ya
Damwon
gua
Suning.
tadinya
Terus keulang kayak yang 2012 tuh.
Terus yang jual Suning.
Ya, keulang kayak
Gila sih.
2012.
Itu Cinderella story banget sih si Han Peng sih. Kalau Suning juara ya, gila tuh.
Oh, dia
The greatest.
senang dia ke Worlds ya, Tuan Fong.
Iya, terus kayak jadi cerita terhebat di e-sport tau gak? Orang dari kondisi yang miskin banget terus ditinggal orang tuanya gitu. Terus ditendang IG ya kan. Masuk Suning, pokoknya Suning juara, gila sih. Itu udah kayak epic story sih.
Cinderella story benar tuh bilang aja.
Nggak tahu tuh mungkin nggak bakal kejadian lagi sih.
Tapi gue iya sih.
Soalnya bener-bener itu kalau lu dengar ceritanya si Huan Peng sih emang susah banget anjir, hard life banget tuh.
Iya.
Ya,
Gua udah baca skill.
life difficulty-nya ekstrim ya.
Iya, life difficulty ekstrim bro. Anjir. Gila.
Tapi gue nonton video itu juga ini tersentuh gue. Yang si Karsa bilang dia sama si Sword Art itu selalu punya mimpi untuk juara Worlds.
Iya.
Nah, terus dia bilang dia berharap siapapun yang lolos bisa mewujudkan mimpi mereka yang dari dulu belum kesampaian.
Iya anjir. Soalnya mereka, gua kira kan mereka cuma skip doang, ternyata mereka ini dari zaman sekolah ternyata. Udah temenan dari sekolah.
Wah gila ya, bisa gitu ya anjing, gua senang banget anjing nonton video-video gitu. Wah ini Yamato tuh dulu pelatihnya apa ya? Yang season ini dia ada keluar tim apa ya?
Sendok.
Yang ada gorilla itu.
Pas Yamato masuk jadi win streak anjir.
And they did this here.
Yeah, for sure. It all started, with the hacker in most
Mereka
cases
banget sih,
against
Kak.
Lilia.
Tuh, apa keluar gitu.
PR mereka dua nih. Hekarim sama TF.
Kayak mereka lebih baik ngambil TF aja sih dibanding Lucian.
Iya, makanya.
G2 knew that they had to force a fight at a specific moment.
Siapa yang menang tadi Bang Demon Bang?
Hah?
Match pertama siapa yang menang tadi?
Yang tadi?
Iya.
Damon lah.
Damon, sorry nggak nampak tadi.
Biasa G itu udah keluar ya.
And we saw repeat gank actually from the angle gang top, he ganked mid, he ganked top, right? And so they actually were able to get first blood.
Bukan apa di flag.
Promising, I think initially.
Ini kan kalau seandainya Damwon menang 3-0 nih, dipraktekin tuh yang kayak G2 kemarin.
Apa yang mana?
Yang pas si Capsi digendong itu loh.
Oh. Yang digendong bisa Pak. Ini Semoga.
Iya.
Enggak, beda dong kan. Kalau kemarin TC digendong gara-gara itu ada airnya. Ini nggak ada air ya.
Oh iya.
Iya, takut nyentuh. Karena api.
Nggak ada apinya tapi.
Iya.
Iya, oh iya bener juga.
Apinya di luar ya kan?
Cuma efek doang di pinggir-pinggiran.
Kenapa mereka nggak kepanasan ya? Bang tadi kemana? Sorry gue ke belakang tadi buat makan.
And let me ask you this before we get to our next
Udah.
the deal. To me, it looked like whenever G2 pulled the trigger
So,
and
Maker main
decided to go for
Echo?
something, I'm thinking about
Oh ya, kalau nggak
perhaps,
salah.
move down
Buat
to
counter
the
Syndra kan?
Iya, kayaknya main Echo juga di sini.
but failing. Eventually, this dragon we're going to see in a second. Everyone knows it's coming.
Tapi Caps ngambil Syndra nggak? Tadi Syndra kan nggak di ban kan ya?
Gue nggak perhatiin sih itu.
Singkat gue nggak di ban ya? Emang karena
Syndra di ban kayaknya.
serius?
Game satu kan? Game sama di ban G2 setahu gue. Tuh di apa first band ketiganya G2
So I think that a lot of this game, in my opinion, came down to poor execution from G2 in the early game, and then as we said, like down on the second they get a lead, it's just control. They never like that's what really get to see how dominant and commanding the team down really is.
And it all got sealed at the Mercedes drive to victory from Damo on the third Infernal Drake fight. And this was again, as Yamato calls out, you know that G2 has to make a stand here, but you guys were oohing and ahhing at some of the individual outplays.
I think the key thing was actually what happened before this, just the patience of them not blowing all the ultimates at the same time. They had a lot of patience, and then eventually when there was the right moment, they struck like a fist together all at once. They really engaged the flash from Showmaker, just denied any potential. Those people are all saying G2 just ran it down. This was the best situation they could have hoped for, because these two core, and this was the best opportunity. They were getting heavily
Let's talk about the emo spam. I know a game
Santai-santai aja bro.
but just think about the background of this Dom on
Gar-gar-garnya
their revenge on G2, and then Showmaker flashes the IG emote to Caps and the FPX emote. Listen, if you're gonna try and tilt them, I like it. I respect it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. You know, always talk about trying to get in their heads in a mental game. Like, that was the perfect play from Showmaker, and I love the confidence.
And also the fact that, you know, the big question...
You have to. I mean, you have to.
G2 was the man, was the experience, and Damon coming out swinging the first one is a very good sign for them.
Absolutely. Let's look forward then. Let's take the picks and bans from game 1, and also with the additional info, G2 has elected to go to the red side. Now, Damwon is on a 24-game winning streak on blue side. The last time they lost on blue was at the mid-season cup versus FPX. They are unbeatable on blue.
Alarm different atau reflex
Tapi bangkit apa ya bang Canon biasanya?
Cindra Nidali Cameo.
Canon. Enggak, maksudnya Canon.
Bagus.
Itu buat nge-counter Renekton.
Well, I don't think that was the problem. Like,
Karena landingnya kayak Jace, tapi lebih bagus Canon buat mid game. Karena kalau Jace itu lebih ke landing, lu hard counter Renekton atau Ornn. Tapi Canon itu lebih buat team fight, nambah pas team fight 5 damage-nya jadi damage output-nya jadi gede karena Canon.
Oh, pantesan Damwon
Terus
Ornn sama apa? Oli itu.
Iya, itu emang mau target band Wunder. Sen tuh, tiga band pertama Damwon tuh buat si Wunder loh tadi. Mereka lepas jungle, mereka lepas mid. Itu tiga-tiganya tuh buat si Wunder loh.
Honestly, Blue Side's been favored the whole tournament. This is the first time we saw.
Mereka tahu sebenarnya dia itu di Wunder.
Continue that fashion, maybe a first pick Graves and Damon just run back what they've always shown.
Bukan di cap sama di apa di anchor gitu.
Benar di cap sih, cuman kayak Wunder tuh dia poolnya banyak. Ini lagi pengen ngelimit champion poolnya Wunder.
Nah,
Masih ada pack sih. Tapi kita lihat aja dipakai
Nggak
atau
bisa
enggak.
sih, nggak mungkin sih kalau lu ambil packnya. Nggak mungkin sih kalau.
ambil pack lu dipukul sama owner G2 anjir. Kalah lagi.
Lu pack habis itu dikasih apa gangplank gitu ya, udah wilos anjing.
Nah tapi pack support masih oke lah. Kalau pack mid agak khawatir sih.
Dulu kan pack mid, pack top mereka pakai.
Itu yang game pertama bikin G2 kalah sama FPX kan ya? DWG Ghost anjay. G2 Caps anjay. Videonya yang kayak gitu. Keren anjir punya.
Makan apa tuh? Ini makan Wendy's lagi promo 25.000, dapat burger kentang sama Coca-Cola 25.000.
Anjir. Keren juga.
Iya Wendy's. Tapi kentangnya gue kasih Bobon. Tadi gue beli sate Padang kan. Cuman si Bobon nggak doyan sate Padang dia.
Gila, Bobon OP dulu, boleh juga anjing lihat.
Makannya kentang boy.
Makannya masih milih-milih ya.
Iya.
Tadi pagi gua beli nasi uduk, nggak mau makan dia, aneh.
Dibeliin nasi
uduk.
Wih, butuh hamburger ya.
Kenapa nggak pizza aja bang? Kenapa nggak pizza atau hamburger?
Pizza bisa sih, cuman lagi nggak mau makan pizza gua. Pengen yang ada apanya, yang kenyang dikit. Pizza tuh dagingnya dikit.
Masih ada top 1 champion top sih yang bisa dipakai sama si Wonder.
Fight.
Sion.
Enggak. Sion.
Sion, iya, Sion juga bisa sih.
Iya.
Sion juga bisa sih.
Ini Sion aja kan. Satu item Sunfire Cap aja udah ribet banget ya. Tanker banget.
Atau enggak tuh silas tadi tuh harusnya dibawa top.
Sini gitu, kalau misalkan mau main kayak kemarin, antara mereka nggak boleh ngelepas Jin TF atau mereka harus nge-cheese. Itu mereka tadi game 1 nggak nge-cheese sama sekali, akhirnya fatal. Kayak Damwon ya udah santai katanya, kita menang landingnya. Boy. Bobon mau Coca-Cola? Jangan ah. Takut sendawa.
Alasan untuk gak ngasihnya karena takut sendawa.
Udah pernah belum denger anjing sendawa?
Bener juga sih.
Soalnya pernah sendawa dia.
Oh iya
sih. Sama aja bunyinya, cuman ya gak enak aja gitu ya. Sendawa yang ngeluarin suara sendawanya tuh bukan manusia gitu, kayak aneh banget jadinya. Kenyang kenyang.
Yang Wolrds kemarin apa namanya, yang draft gitu loh, apa kayaknya susah deh gamenya.
Bukannya jadi lebih gampang ya? Menurutku malah lebih kayak lu main Bruno aja di ML. Serius dah. Orang Bruno plagiatnya Draven, ya udah main Draven aja.
Mana agak susah sih bang. Gua malah mending main Kaisa sih malah.
Oh, beda ini kali, beda style.
Beda. Lo harus itu belajar sama BRTT lo.
Anjay, BRTT. Gila. Terus datang ke Wolrds pakai kalung ya kan, buat tatoan gitu. Gila nih plekan. Apa? Ini owner timnya nih. Bukan gak kelihatan kayak player, jadi ke player kan kayak muka-mukanya yang kayak itu Damwon tuh ya kan, yang ya kan, yang anak-anak alim-alim. Ini datang tatoan pakai kalung, anjir nih owner timnya nih. Gila, udah bukan nggak kelihatan player itu. Tapi dia dulu ini ya, driver nama Twitch ya, mainnya dia.
Iya.
Twitch kan biar itu juga main Twitch. GG sih tapi itu. Apa mau makan lagi?
Yang biar itu lah, yang tinggi dikit lah. Gak pakai.
Tapi rematch Damwon lawan G2 kemarin itu nggak kalah banget sih Damwon sebenarnya.
Yang mana?
Yang tahun kemarin. Masih 60-40 lah gitu.
Kemarin mereka masih junior ya kan.
Bang,